Now, the last thing we're going to be talking about today, we're just about to wrap it up, is going to be the notification system. Let these be helpful, not a burden. And what I really mean by that is we have overhauled our notification system. It was last year that we did it, and this took it from being a notify on immediate failure to being a much more flexible option. Each user can even set their own do not disturb times now. If you have had notifications enabled in the past and found them annoying, it might be a good time to revisit the configuration since it is much more customizable. To really go over this, I'm going to give you a few examples for small teams, large teams, and we're going to discuss some user-specific options. So a small team example. So if you're working with a small team or solo, you might have a few different severity levels set up. Internal outages. So this is going to be if my switch, router, or firewall drops offline. And I can see down here, I have that set up for every failure. So on actually the immediate transition, when it first starts to fail or first starts to pass, I'm going to get that notification. For network outages, I actually have this one down here set up for 2 failures. That's what I'm showing on the right as well. Because blips are going to happen with web servers, I really want to catch if it's actually an outage. And then for stuff that's really not that important, but still our users are going to idly care about it, I might set up a really infrequent notification down here. This lets us have that notification system be very powerful and let us know when there is a real problem we need to troubleshoot. As for larger teams, you might instead take the approach of having different tiers of support. So we could do this with multiple profiles in there. And I'm actually going to show in just a second on the next slide what this would look like from a network test configuration standpoint. But some people will prefer to use Teams or Slack groups for their notifications instead of direct email, which can be accomplished with our notification-only user. That is a user type which cannot log in, but is still available for notifications. Now I have a organization here comprised of people entirely named Adam. We have Adam Prime and then 2, 3, and 4. And so for tier 1, we have Adam Prime and Adam 2 that would get those notifications here. And we're going to notify on 2 failures because they're tier 1. They should be the first to look into it. But if they can't figure it out or it is an extended outage, I expect our tier 1 team to escalate this to tier 2. And we can trust them to do that. In my experience, though, and I mean, hopefully you have good tier 1 staff. I never have. Some tier 1 reps will be amazing, some will just be awful. And so I prefer to trust but verify. And so I might set up a tier 2 notification as well for if it's still down for a longer than expected time, I'm then going to escalate that up through the sensors rather than relying on our staff to do that manually. So just food for thought, a great way to set it up. What this looks like from the sensors point of view or network test config point of view, we can assign these profiles. And so this is a much better operation. In comparison to that default test suite we had earlier, we could see we have a lot of custom tests configured here, some against some core equipment. We even have like a application test and ping test against the same sites just to show the differences. And I have a lot of different severity profiles applied here. For public websites, not that important. So I'm going to notify on low priority. And actually, I don't even care if they fail ping. I really care if the website is down. So I'm going to notify on that one alone. For my iPerf server, I'm going to notify on 2 failures. And then I even have the tier 1, tier 2 in here. And you can see I actually have the same test running twice. That's how you can accomplish this. There's no harm in pinging something twice through the sensor, even just on the wired port. And so I'm using this to facilitate that tiered structure for those notifications. Just food for thought. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about, and this is the last slide we're going to be going over aside from just Q&A, is each user can define their do not disturb time. So this is a really nice portion of the sensors in here. You can, and this is actually the user configuration. So if you click on your username under users, this is what you will see. You can set your time zone. You can enable or disable notifications. That's really helpful. Like if you're going on vacation, uncheck. Don't get them while you're on vacation. But then, if you have an on-call rotation or are just setting up notifications, especially with like an email to text service, these are great because we can mute the notifications on certain days. Now, the example I'm given here is I'm working Monday through Friday, and on Monday through Wednesday, I am not the one who's going to need to deal with it in the middle of the night. So I have those muted after I'm done working and they're back on in the morning. Whereas Thursday and Friday, T threw me off, we have the notifications entirely unmuted by the fact that these are unchecked because I'm the on-call guy. I'm going to need to be notified if there's an outage in the middle of the night, and then Saturday and Sunday I'm off, so please don't notify me. So just a way that you can set this up, and that just helps a lot in not getting nagged by the system and having these notify you when it's really important to you.